And I will bring on stage Professor
of the North to promote growth and development in Nigeria. That's what I intend to look at. And the main thrust of what I'm going to talk about involves three things. The first is we need to go beyond rhetoric and think of developing the North. The second is explore possibilities to harness the potentials and resources in the North for sustainable political and other forms of development in the region. And finally, explore how to convert the population to political strength. How do we convert our population to political strength? Because we are in a political dispensation, and any development that will happen is the outcome of the political situation. So how do we use this strength? I'm happy that previous speakers have talked about how backward we are in different aspects of development: poverty, economic empowerment, youth unemployment, all kinds of challenges in the North. Our main focus is how do we now transform and learn lessons from all these challenges so that we shift it to something beneficial and something more rewarding and result-oriented. I will say that it is a very rare opportunity, and I do not take this opportunity for granted, for me to stand before these distinguished personalities, our leaders, past and current, to speak my mind. I'm indeed very grateful for this opportunity granted to me. You will agree with me that Arewa New Agenda 2023 is indeed the needed compass for Nigeria as a whole, not only Arewa, looking at our population. Because my belief is when Arewa moves, Nigeria should move with it. But we can't do it unless we synergize, unless we unite, unless we refocus in the interest of development beyond Arewa itself as a region, but Nigeria in general, so that other West African countries and the like will come and learn lessons from us. We have highlighted the focus of the agenda. I said we should go beyond rhetoric. And we know that the Nigerian population has told us that Nigeria has over 200 people resident in Nigeria, out of which the North has more than 60% of the population. If we look at the map and look at the region of the North, you will see where the North occupies in Nigeria. I'm happy that agriculture has been mentioned. Other natural resources have also been mentioned. So how do we go beyond this situation? Nigeria generally, and especially the North, is endowed with huge potentials and resources. If we look at how things work elsewhere, it is teamwork, it is synergy, it is sustainability, it is continuity, holding each other's hand, it is mentorship. And we lack this in the northern region, with due respect. We must, as a matter of deliberate effort, begin to inculcate those attributes that the developed world has used to place them where they are. Once they start, it's like a building. You start a foundation. You do a concrete foundation so that the building will stand the test of time. Gradually, you lay one block after the other until you reach the lintel level, until you do this and do that and do that. But in our case, we do a foundation, and subsequently, when somebody comes, the foundation is now either abandoned or demolished, and someone will begin afresh. The energy used to restart would have been utilized for continuity and sustainability. So that's why I'm saying we should go beyond rhetoric. It's time for action. We have learned a lot of lessons. We have learned enough lessons for us to re-strategize in the interest of the future and in the interest of the generation that are coming behind us. That's why I brought in the issue of mentorship. Nigeria and the North is blessed with huge resources that are yet to be harnessed. I will just mention a few of the resources. We have a very rich culture that could attract tourism. But to what extent have we transformed our culture for tourist attraction and subsequently for economic enhancement? We have not. We have a lot of things to showcase, right from the past to the present. To what extent have we even kept our history so that reference is made on that and improvement is made upon it? Our past seems to be forgotten, and we also we start a new generation. We start a new ideology. We also have a lot of human resources. Not necessarily those who have gone to the four walls of a classroom. We have those that have done that. We have doctors, we have professors in all fields of endeavor. But at the same time, we have those who have not gone to the four walls of the classroom but have talent. They are gifted. We have people who have manufactured so many things in Nigeria, in the northern region of Nigeria. We have people who are very innovative, who have a lot of initiative. But how far have we been able to make them harness this innovation? How far have we been able to support them to build on what their ideologies directs them to? It ends where they live. Some are in a very remote village, but nobody knows about them. And even if somebody knows about them, because they are nobody, so no one is interested in promoting them. Yet, other parts of the world will identify such talent and will want to explore. So the kind of human resources I am talking about, look at the health drain. Doctors, nurses going outside Nigeria from the north, and they excel. They become the best of this, the best of that. Why can't they be the best in northern Nigeria? Why can't you stay and impact? It's not all about money, but it's about contribution to national development. It's about service to humanity. It's about playing our own role, because each and every one of us seated here has a stake in transforming northern Nigeria and eventually transforming Nigeria. Because like I have said, when the north moves, Nigeria is supposed to move with them. So we are the determinants of what becomes of Nigeria. We determine the success of a president in this country. The vote that comes from the north is the determining vote. So why can't we translate it to benefit the north and subsequently benefit Nigeria? We have versatile youths, very active, very agile, very committed, who desire to have a space to participate. And that's where mentorship comes in. These youths must be positively engaged. Forget about we have people in drug abuse. I hold a position that I do not totally blame any drug addict, but I blame the society and the environment where they live. Some of them find themselves in this situation because of perhaps parental negligence, societal rejection. They drop out of school and people think that's the end of them. There's always an opportunity. There's always a second chance. Those people in drug, bring them close. Instead of using them for political toggery, you can use them for something more positive and engaging. Time has come that the youth must be positively engaged. They must be able to have the opportunity to contribute to their own quota. I'm happy we have youth leaders in this sitting. So it shouldn't end by just sitting, bringing out a resolution, and it ends there. Practical and realistic participation. We have vibrant women who have a lot to contribute. But sometimes culture says no. Sometimes men domination say no. But as far as we are concerned, when we are talking of development, we are not looking at gender. We are looking at what value addition are you bringing on board. So, if a woman has the value to contribute, why not? Other places women have excelled. Developed countries, we have women leaders, and they have delivered. More so that women are the majority of those who cast their vote. So I will just seize the opportunity to draw the attention of my fellow women that you determine who sits on the seat. And you have women among you who are also capable. Rally around them. And negotiate with the men. When they come for campaign, negotiate with the men. Which positions and which positions will be left for X, Y, Z. And so you get our buy-in. So the world is all about negotiation. And the world is all about what? Selling yourself. Making yourself relevant. Availing yourself to contribute. So the women, I don't encourage women to sit and say that they should give us, avail yourself, and make yourself relevant. So it's not favor, but we are saying what? Equal opportunity to participate. Equal opportunity to participate in either politics, national development, regional development. We have people living with disability. They are also a very strong and formidable group that the northern region can harness from. We leverage from their existence. We leverage from their existence. We have other business opportunities in terms of agriculture, industrialization. Mention was made of our dead industry. We need to revive them. We have a lot, but I want to tell us some key things. For us to be responsible, we must be able to create, we must initiate, we must be innovative, we must understand each other and our views, and at the end, we take decision together. I'm aware. We take decision together. So these things will be our guiding principle. So at the end, I want to leave us with just some few words. I want us to understand that the population is something that is a very, very good instrument of success. So I would like to reiterate that we must nurture a seedling. When you plant a seed, you must nurture the seedling together for sustainability to be assured in the region. So nurturing of our political seedling is a collective responsibility. And I want to end by saying that in union, there is strength. I want to thank you for this opportunity. and pray that we have a very
forefathers. The northern Nigeria we inherited from our forefathers were actually northern Nigeria, inclusive of everybody. No nepotism, no indolence, no inaptitude. It was a northern Nigeria of carefully built team to move this part of the country onto a higher pedestal where it competes competitively and comparatively with any other part of the world. And that is demonstrated in the careful selection of people that governed this part of the country. Sardauna didn't live for himself. He was a progressive leader, very visionary, very positive. Otherwise, he couldn't have selected the people that he worked with the way he did. He had Sankashi Ibrahim from Northeast, Alhaji Ahmadu Ribadu from Northeast, from Yola, Ibrahim Akaita from Katsina, Michael Audububa, not Michael Audububa, the one from Panshin, from Plateau. So he spread this representation across what was known as Northern Nigeria with the intention of building the fault lines, of uniting Northern Nigeria, that's one. With the intention of getting the best in terms of governance in order to promote the cause of Northern Nigeria, where the child of the poor man, as long as he had the capacity to be able to serve Northern Nigeria, was given the opportunity to do so. Today, it is nepotism. It is who you know, who your father is, rather than what you can do for Northern Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, if we therefore want to move, the thing to do is to reconstruct Northern Nigeria. Move away from this contraption by this, I'm sorry to use this word, bankrupt, national, egocentric elites. We have to domesticate Northern Nigeria as Northerners. It is up north, not their north. There are occasions where we hear stories about the sons of ministers, the sons of this, the sons of that are giving employment letters in their houses when more competent people from lower classes are neglected. The first thing, therefore, is to unite Northern Nigeria. The second thing is to make sure that Northern Nigeria has competent people to run its affairs. Not mediocres. Otherwise, we're not going to get anywhere. Now, so that is just by the way, ladies and gentlemen. But the crux of the matter is for us to establish the dialectics between the people and their environment. The environment makes the man. Without the environment's input to human beings, the human being is nothing. Let's go back to antiquities. When the man was created by God, during the glacial period, the Ice Age, he was so resourceful, made resourceful by the fact that he had to live. What did he do? He decided to go into caves. That was making big opportunity out of challenges. So he decided to move into the caves. In the caves, he became a settled person. Not only that, he had to go out of his cave to now look for something to eat. That was how he became a hunter, again responding to the challenges of the environment. After hunting, he thought, well, am I going to be going out all the time to look for food? Why don't I start to domesticate it? He started to domesticate animals, and he started to grow his food, the beginning of agriculture. That is initiative born out of the challenges of environment. Now let's come down to our environment in Northern Nigeria today. Northern Nigeria is a part of the world, I would say, that is so vulnerable to many environmental consequences. This desert is there coming down. What are we going to do? It's going to be, it must be, and I'm emphasizing it must be part of our agenda. It must be part of our negotiation with anybody who comes to power. What do we do with the desert encroachment? How can we re-engineer? How can we re-engineer the northern environment so that the potentials of northern Nigeria can be brought out? Environmental re-engineering must be on the agenda. And what do I mean? The gentleman from Arewa House, or from Arewa Consultative Forum, raised a very fundamental issue, and that is, do we simply take the floods that come to northern Nigeria every day, or the desert encroaches into Nigeria every day, for granted? Or do we simply say, well, these are challenges that we cannot face? We have to face the challenges. She has given an example. She has given an example of what do we do with the flood water. In any challenge, there is always an opportunity. Let's take the opportunity. Let's do what civilized societies have done. During the Second World War, the poorest part of the United States of America was the Tennessee Valley. Rugged, tumultuous torrents, grumbling all the way from Ohio River down to Tennessee. What he did was, no, I'm going to improve this society. I'm not going to leave it behind. What did he do? He decided to trap the water coming from the Ohio River into lock-up dams. Lock-up dams that were used, or that were to be used for irrigation purposes, for internal water transportation system, for climate change mitigation, for spotting, and so many other reasons. Want our vote, do this for us. If you can't do this for us, forget it. Why can't we tap the other energy resource of northern Nigeria? Windmills. Why don't you have the windmills? Let's do this. Give concrete items that you want to include in the agenda and say, this is what you want. If you want our vote, this is what you have to do for us, otherwise you're not going to get our vote. Or we go to our governors, they keep saying we don't have money. What you need to do this windmill, probably about 10, 15 billion, and you cover part of your states. Let's be practical, my dear brothers. It's not a question of time. Let's be practical. This is an opportunity for me to say what I've been saying in my books. Take my book.
We'll get the submission. Please, I know how far you come.
Okay, she's riding off the stage.
Of what northern Nigeria needs from that government. But I'm very happy today that some good northern Nigerians have sat and came up with this idea. And I'm happy I have an opportunity to say one or two things. The last speaker has said some of what I have in mind. We can see the decline of industries in northern Nigeria. And all were because of the inability of getting enough power to run these industries. We are blessed with sunshine in the north. We don't need to be waiting for government to get us power from either gas turbine or from the hydro. The governors of northern Nigeria can form, a kind of association to see how they can fund such projects to provide electricity for the northern Nigeria. And if we have enough electricity, all our industries will come back to life. Most of these insecurity issues we are having in the north will be addressed, because you can see majority of our youth are unemployed. That is why they are getting engaged in most of these vices. So, Professor has already spoken on that. And there is one major issue. Anything we can do to achieve in this country or in the world, number one thing we should put in mind is having a sound education. We are lagging behind seriously in terms of education. So I would also want to call on the organizers of this forum to please call the governors of the northern Nigeria and advise them to declare a state of emergency on education. Let us educate our youth. Once we have enough education, we can control most of these issues of insecurity in the northern Nigeria. I don't want to go further, but with this, maybe in later time, I will have one or two things to add. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable. May I mix this with a female voice? And I want to call.
And you know, in government, because of what we have in northern Nigeria in terms of population, landmass and all whatnot, we are not supposed to have the problems we have in the north. So you have to bring it out so that people will know that definitely we have the population, we have the vote, we have the landmass, we have all what it takes, either in agriculture or what. They know it's not supposed to be poor, because we can feed, we cannot feed only the Nigeria, we can feed the whole of Africa or the world if need be, because we have the landmass and we have arable, fertile land. So we want to at least awaken our people to know that we have to set up an agenda to make sure that we move out of where we are, from where we are now to the new north. That's why we say new Arewa agenda.
Chairman, what are the new agenda setting?
Well, the new agenda setting is people to know that, look, before you engage anybody, either in government or whatever somebody wants to do, if you are going to go to a governor, you have the vote. But then you have to make sure that you sit down and discuss with the person. What is he going to do for you? You have problems. Tell you, look, these are problems. Which one are you going to tackle? Or we can tell you, so these are major problems. These are the ones you want you to tackle. And you must have a buy-in in there. If not, then you go to another person. That's the good thing of multi-party democracy.
To have a developmental desire for the North is a critical.
Yeah.
So this conference is directed and is step in the right direction.
Yeah.
It is well said that when you seek
the why I have to go candidate is that to make sure that the agreement they enter with anybody, they must definitely adhere to it. Or you have to sit down and agree with the people, not to say, look, I'll do everything. Doing everything is just like doing nothing. So you have to make sure that you spell out. Because if you are campaigning now, your campaign must be very clear to the electorate. This is what I am going to do for you. And by now they are going to call you by that. Because they are going to record it, because they ask you, this is what they want. So definitely you have to make sure that you know exactly what they want, you note it, and then you tell them when you are doing campaigning, these are their major problems I'm going to tackle it. Thank you very much.
Collaborating with other organizations to face the presidential candidates of various political parties to come with their own policies. If they are elected the president of Nigeria, what do they have to offer Nigeria? And I also know some organizations also are doing it, and this is the first. Therefore, I still want to continue to congratulate us for being here today to set the pace, and it must happen. It will not just be coming here, reading papers, talking together, and leave, and nothing happen. Distinguished Senator, I congratulate you, and I also want to call on all the partners in this program. You must insist this must work this time around. Thank you very much.
And the galvanizer of Nigeria is sick. I would like to talk about the imperative of safety and security of northern Nigeria to national, Africa, and global sustainability. Indeed, whether we like it or not, in the next 30, 50 years, the globe will start looking onto Africa. And Africa, like Nelson Mandela has said, looks up to Nigeria. And Nigeria looks up to northern Nigeria. Because northern Nigeria is where the population is where the resources is, and we cannot allow ourselves to drift away because of insecurity. It is timely that we put our negotiating table together so that we must make insecurity a thing of a past in northern Nigeria. We have over 200 million people in this country. For a country like Nigeria with over 200 million people, sitting in a population of about 923,000 square kilometers. And yet, the total population of security agencies in Nigeria is less than 1 million. Are we a country or we are a big joke? How can less than 1 million people are expected to man 200 million people living in 923,000 square kilometers? Is it possible? We must wake up. And where we have this enormous insecurity problem is the North here. What is happening to us? What is our problem? We must go down and find out the root causes of this problem. I remember as a child vividly when his, of blessed memory, Alhaji Aminu Kano came to my father, and on his, they were chatting, I was sitting down with them, and he asked my father, Mana Aliu, where is your son schooling? And my father told him where I was schooling. He said, when I was coming to your house, I saw many children on the street. Seems to be doing almajiranchi. How many of them have you taken care of? How many of them have you sent to school? He said, these children, at the time this your son becomes an adult, these children will not allow them to sleep. They are going to be the menace. They are going to create a lot of problems for them in this country. So it is our own responsibilities. And this is what our religions taught us. You are a Christian, you are a Muslim. The main ingredient of that religion, of these religions, is neighborliness. Keeping neighborliness together. It's not about parasiting. You have a lot of orphans outside there that need assistance. You have a lot of children that beg around, sleep under the gutter, sleep under bridges, without any fatherly, or no protection, nothing. And you expect these children to come and, when they grow up, to come and clap for you? No! You have already made them hate the society, because the society is not there to take care of them. So we must learn our lessons from what is happening. We must fix our today for tomorrow, because this problem we are facing today started yesterday. So this come together is apt, is right, and we must make northern Nigeria work for the benefit of Nigeria and for the benefit of Africa and indeed the whole world. Because when you are talking of food sustainability, the globe is going into famine very soon, and they will be looking up to Africa. And like I said, we have the arable land, we can produce more than enough for the world. So we must take this advantage, take this opportunity, and make sure the North work for the purpose of the whole globe. Thank you very much.
I am very, very delighted to be here on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Special Duties, Distinguished Senator George Akume. He would have been here, but other matters of state have taken him away, and he's unable to be here today. I have listened to so much of what has been said today, and a lot of it resonates with me because I come from a state that has been particularly challenged by the insecurity to such a degree that we who are supposed to be the food basket of Nigeria are suddenly becoming like a very poverty-ridden society. And it is founded on the fact that we have had certain political actors come and play politics with insecurity within our immediate environment. They have not addressed the key issues which should be addressed. And the conveners of this forum have given us another opportunity to discuss the salient issues that should be and must be addressed by whatever government that comes into power in 2023. And we must stand to negotiate with one voice as a united North We cannot begin to speak to these issues based on ethnic or religious sentiments. We have to address them very clearly. Some of the speakers have spoken about education, we have spoken about industrialization, we have spoken about so many of the things that the North was known for as being a pioneer, a leader, and unfortunately, we have lost ground in some of those areas. To regain ground, like has been said by so many other people here today, we cannot but go to the negotiating table. The agenda is going to be set by this gathering today, and I'm sure that as we speak to our leaders, they will take that agenda forward and will discuss with all the aspirants, candidates of the respective political parties, so that we will come away with a good deal. We have the upper hand in terms of the voting population, and we must exploit that to the best of our ability. Thank you very much, and God bless you as we continue to deliberate.
Thank you very much, sir. Very quickly, we bring on stage Engineer Dr. Aishatu Ali Umar, representative of distinguished Senator Aishatu Ahmed Binangi.